What did you see as like the most important gatekeepers that needed to be overturned?
It was the Zionist Jews. I see Jewishness as the common denominator. I just feel like it needs to be called out explicitly. Jewish identity, the Jewish religion. Clearly, the state of Israel and the neocons are deeply motivated by that ethnic identity. The plan of greater Israel, it stems from this ethno-religion, which is Judaism.
I get what you're saying. The Christian Zionists, I dislike them more than anybody. I'm denounced as an anti-Semite every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really care what ADL thinks of me.
They have been messing with me for my entire adult life. The SPLC posted my house on their website.
And then someone showed up with a gun and tried to kill you at that house?
Yes.
Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes recently had an unexpected conversation. Despite their past disagreements and contrasting views, they found common ground in opposing Israel's actions in Gaza. Tucker described facing harassment for speaking out about Gaza, while Fuentes went further, blaming what he called radical Judaism and Jewish supremacy for the broader conflict. Let's watch the first clip.
What did you see as like the most important gatekeepers that needed to be overturned, pushed aside in order to do this?
It was the Zionist Jews, like Dave Rubin, like Ben Shapiro, like Dennis Prager, the guys that were really controlling the media apparatus that seemed to me to be the biggest impediment.
Fox is not a Jewish business, though.
Well, Rupert Murdoch is an ally of Netanyahu, so he's
True.
aligned.
Yeah.
And he owns the whole News Corp empire. So, and yeah, he's certainly a part of it also. The more that I dug into the subject, the more I found out there's a lot of these neocon Jewish types behind the Iraq war. There's the foreign aid complex, which is really unique. There's AIPAC, which is this intense foreign lobby where it's bipartisan. It seems to be the only thing that the parties can agree on. I read The Israel Lobby by Mearsheimer and Stephen Walt, and they break it down very succinctly that there's no real strategic benefit. Actually, there's strategic liability. Eastern Mediterranean is not a strategically important region. The intelligence that Israel provides is not useful. Actually, it's detrimental because they frequently lie. The technology we give them, they pass along to the Chinese, which was a big scandal.
Like, I'm pissed at the neocons, very pissed. I've said that a million times. I've been mad since December of 2003 when I went to Iraq. I mean, obviously, I'm denounced as an anti-Semite every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really care what ADL thinks of me. I always thought it's great to criticize and it's question like our relationship with Israel because it's insane and it hurts us. We get nothing out of it. I completely agree with you there. But the second you're like, well, actually, it's the Jews.
I guess my substantive disagreement is the idea that neoconservatism and Israel has nothing to do with Jewishness, Jewish identity, the Jewish religion, because clearly the state of Israel and the neocons are deeply motivated by that ethnic identity, and their allegiance to Israel proceeds from that. You know, the plan of greater Israel, the blood and soil nationalism of Israel, it stems from this ethno-religion, which is Judaism.
I get what you're saying, but the problem in your response is it does not apply to every individual.
No, and I would never say that. Neoconservatism, where does it arise from? It arises from Jewish leftists.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of it for sure. But then, like, how do you explain the Christian Zionists? Like, what is that? I can just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody, because like, what? Because it's Christian heresy and I'm offended by that as a Christian.
Nick accused several pro-Israel conservative figures, including Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Dennis Prager, of shaping Western opinion in Israel's favor. When Tucker asked why non-Jewish media figures such as Rupert Murdoch also support Israel, Nick pointed to Murdoch's ties with Benjamin Netanyahu. He also blamed pro-Israel neoconservatives for promoting the Iraq War and criticized AIPAC's influence on American politicians. Nick argued that the U.S.-Israel alliance brings little benefit to ordinary Americans, while Tucker condemned the deceptions surrounding the Iraq invasion and the accusations of anti-Semitism directed at critics of U.S. policy toward Israel. Nick linked these issues to extremist nationalist and religious ideologies, while Tucker stressed that such criticism should not be applied to Jewish people as a whole, and also condemned Christian Zionists who prioritize another country's interests over America. Let's roll the next clip.
The coordinated attacks against totally reasonable questions about what's in America's interest and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all coordinated by the Israeli government. It's all come to light now. And they're against me. I've always thought I have the world's most moderate position on Israel. Just don't want to get involved in their wars. Don't want to pay for this. Don't want to pay for abortion on demand in a foreign country. Sorry.
Mm.
When we're cutting food stamps on our own, like that's outrageous. It's not America first. That's my view. Not embarrassed of it at all. They are totally determined to take me out, I think because I'm reasonable. Who would disagree with that? And call me all these names, the most dangerous anti-Semite, when I'm not even an anti-Semite. And they're not doing that to you because, this is my view, and that's not necessarily your fault, but because they're like, Fuentes discredits the reasonable people because he's always banging on about the Jews. And so he makes everyone else look like a Nazi. And so it's like he's playing a pretty valuable role in the same way that Israel has always funded extremism throughout the Middle East, including Hamas, because it discredits the reasonable people. That's a fact.
Yeah. I would just say I disagree. I mean, because you said the other day, they like me. I don't know what you're talking about when you say that because,
I don't know.
Let me just kind of rebut that.
Well, by the way, I'm not saying you have anything to do with this. I'm just saying I've noticed the phenomenon.
Totally. And I just reject that because they have been messing with me for my entire adult life. I mean,
the ADL.
The ADL got me banned on YouTube. The SPLC posted my house on their website.
What do you mean posted your house?
They posted a photo of my house on their website.
How can they do that?
I guess that's a free speech thing.
The SPLC posted a picture of your house on their website?
Yes.
When?
In 2022. On the front page, the picture for the article is my house where I live.
That's crazy. And then someone showed up with a gun and tried to kill you at that house?
Yes. So that's why I say, you say, well, they're not doing this to you. It's like the ZOA, the SPLC, the ADL, the Daily Wire. All these groups have been on me for years. So that's news to me if they're really endorsing my activities.
It could just be my perception. One of the reasons that I'm mad about Gaza is because the Israeli position is everyone who lives in Gaza is a terrorist because of how they were born, including the women and the children. That's not a Western view, and that's totally incompatible with Christianity and Western civilization. They say, oh, we're the defenders of Western civilization. Not with that attitude. You're not. Collective punishment is the enemy of Western civilization.
Yeah.
So I hate that attitude. It's genocidal.
Tucker argued that critics of Israel are often targeted with accusations and character attacks, especially when they question us funding for the country. He also said Nick Fuentes' extremist reputation can weaken legitimate criticism of Israel, allowing propagandists to portray all critics as hateful. Fuentes has faced blacklisting, though some of it is also connected to his racist and anti-Muslim statements. Tucker condemned the dehumanization of Palestinians in Gaza and rejected the idea that an entire population should be treated as extremists. His position was more balanced than that of many Western politicians. Let's watch the final clip.
I mean, as far as the Jews are concerned, I think that, like I said, you cannot actually divorce Israel and the neocons and all of those things that you talk about from Jewishness. Ethnicity, religion, identity. You say on your show that we need to treat Israel like any other country. And I sort of understand that in principle because Israel is another foreign country.
Yeah.
But Israel is unlike every other country. If you are a Jewish person in America, there's like a natural affinity that Jews have for Israel. They have this international community that is putting the interests of themselves before the interests of their home country. There's no other country that has a similar arrangement like that. And in particular, the historic animosity between the Jewish people and the Europeans. They hate the Romans because the Romans destroyed the temple.
Yeah, things may be generally true, but in the specific case of Israel, there are a ton of Orthodox who I know who are opposed to the state of Israel. Jeff Sachs is like the most wonderful man, who's Jewish, the most articulate kind of critic of the state of Israel that I'm aware of.
I would say, though, that the main challenge to that, a big challenge to that, is organized Jewry in America. I don't think Bill Ackman is capable of that. I don't think Sheldon Adelson is capable of that. I don't think Yoram Hazony is capable of that, for that matter. and many other, on the right and the left. I see Jewishness as the common denominator. And you're right. It's not all Jewish people feel the same way. No one would say that, but that does seem to be the common denominator. And I just feel like it needs to be called out explicitly. And I like what you said the other day. If you're serving in another country's military or have dual citizenship, you really can't be a part of this project.
Well, that's an easy one because it's easy to just set universal rules that apply to everyone, not just the Jews or the Christians or the anybody, just like Americans can only serve in the U.S. military or they lose their passport. I mean, I don't know. That's not hard. So how would you like this all to be resolved?
What I would like is for the U.S. government to not be influenced by these kinds of foreign allegiances, not with money that comes from, American citizens like Sheldon Adelson, not from foreign lobbyists. So, I mean, in terms of tangible things, I don't think we disagree on any of it. Like registering AIPAC and FARA, banning dual citizenship. Like I'm basically in agreement.
I think 80% of the public agrees with those.
Yeah.
Don't let foreign powers, especially tiny ones far away, control your country. Like, of course not. Everyone agrees with that on both sides.
Yeah.
Nick argued that a supremacist ideology within pro-Israel politics fuels Israel's treatment of Palestinians and influences supporters who place Israel's interests above those of their own countries. Tucker stressed that many Jewish people strongly oppose Israel's policies and actively support Palestinian rights. Both agreed that anyone who serves a foreign government's interests over their own country, or is credibly accused of war crimes, should face lawful investigation and accountability. They concluded that growing public opposition to Israeli influence must be turned into peaceful, legal, and constructive political action.